Hey everyone. So, before I begin doing my interviews and kind of starting all of this, I wanted to go ahead and share my story about how I lost my mom from cancer when I was 12. Um, this is something that has really affected my life and has been kind of hard to talk about up until now. I've gone back and forth on this hundreds of times starting all of this, but my hope is to share my story and other people's stories to provide encouragement and understanding for other people going through this or who have gone through it, and to just kind of help to connect with people and just to kind of hear everyone's stories and their perspectives on life. So basically, my mom was diagnosed with a very rare form of cancer known as adenoid cystic carcinoma, which affects, I believe, less than 2% of people. And so, a couple months after I was born, she was first diagnosed, and she went through chemo and everything and made a pretty good recovery. Didn't seem like she was ever sick through the beginning of my childhood. And so, everything was pretty normal up until I was in about second grade when we found out her cancer had returned and it had spread through her head and up near her brain, and she had to undergo a pretty serious surgery. And so when I was in third grade, she had her surgery, and it had left quite a bit of scarring on her face and some disfigurement, which was hard to see. And, just a child looking at this, it really scares them. And so she came home, and I had been sort of in and out of school at the time because I was having really bad anxiety. And so, everything sort of started to go back to normal. I was helping to take care of her. She had a feeding tube, so I would help to, pour the drink and kind of, help feed her. And it was like a little thing we had. And, I just did my best at a very young age to help take care of her as well as the rest of my family. And, it was hard on all of us. And so she recovered the best that she could. She still had some issues after that, was never quite the same. But when I was in about seventh grade, it came back once again. And this time it had spread to a very critical part of her brain where the surgery would have been very risky. And so they decided it was best to not go through with it and told her that they expected her to live about a year at the most. And so she actually made it past a year, but started to decline quite a bit after a few months. She had been working this whole time. She was loved by her coworkers, and everybody was super supportive, super caring, and it really meant a lot to me and my family. And so, my mom was very strong. She wanted everything to stay as normal as possible at home. She didn't want to be treated any differently. And she worked almost right up until the end just to help support us and make sure that, our lives would carry on and that we would be taken care of. And so, I owe a big thank you to her. And I'm just constantly amazed at everything she went through and how resilient she was. I mean, you would have never thought that she was sick, and really just didn't want any extra help or anything up until she absolutely needed it. In her final months, she did lose her eyesight, and that was extremely hard for her. I remember having to kind of help her around the house and, just kind of guide her around and just do whatever, she needed. We were all here to support and help her. And, we all loved her very much. And so this was a very short version of this. I'm going to touch more on this as the discussions continue, but it's a lot to deal with at a young age like that, and to kind of see it develop throughout your entire childhood. It's very traumatic. I had to grow up pretty fast and, just didn't quite have the normal childhood like a lot of people have. And so I'm grateful for the time that I got to spend with her, and I still have so many memories of her, which I look forward to sharing in upcoming videos. And I just think about her every day and just how incredible she was, and I try to live my life in a way that she would be proud of. I try to just work hard and make good decisions and just take care of myself and do everything that she would want me to do. So I hope anyone out there who's struggling right now takes away something from this video, and I hope anyone going through this or who has gone through it will feel free to share their story, whether it's just in a message or comment or anything. And if anybody wants to be in a video to share a story, I have quite a few people that have reached out, and it really means a lot to me, who would like to share some of the things that have happened to them. Besides losing a parent, there have been a number of other issues that people have had to go through, which I'm happy to talk about. So I hope this helps some people, and I just want to thank everybody for listening, and I will talk to you soon.